It's been a long time I went live, so I got a notification popping there. Okay. Yeah, I have not figured this out, so I'm good, but I just want to go right into the video because yes, I feel like just going right into the video is going to help me. Yeah, just hit it running. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Prepared Live Masterclass. I I wish I could, take off the glasses, but I can't. My eyes are really in that state at this moment. So yeah. Okay, guys. So my name is Victoria Ohiblam. I am a human resource management strategist. I'm a lawyer. I'm a career counselor, a personal development coach, and a reading and home learning advocate. I'm also the founder. Yeah, I'm also the founder of the Package Life Enterprises, where I help individuals impact, where I help individuals, sorry about that, to unpack their words so they can expand their capacity and elevate their performance through one-on-one coaching, trainings, and creative workshops on career development, on capacity building, self-discovery, self-awareness, productivity mastery, vision boarding, idea development, and strategy, like having a strategy section to just look at that idea, develop it, have a concept note, have an implementation plan, and just get right on. Reading advocacy, of course, like I've earlier said, I have currently one book club that's running, which is Read with Vicky or Hebel and Read with Vicky O. We also have a YouTube channel. Yeah, so that book club is specifically for digging deeper, right? So if you want to study God's word more and not just studying you know randomly, but looking at you know issues looking at issues or learning about how to go through life, but doing that through the word of God, and you want to join Read with Vicky or Heblam, I'll leave the link to this. I'll attach a link to this video. You can look at it you can click it on the description box. Currently, we've been studying about time management, and we're going to continue on that time management. I don't know, I've just been on time management for the longest time. And yeah, also, and okay, so we do that using um, the U Version Bible app, at least, and any other Bible study that I come across and I feel is interesting, and I just get to share with the group. Also, and then subsequently we will be moving into reading books, but at the moment we're strictly on studied Bible plans, and very very soon we'll be going into books, like reading inspirational books written by Christian authors, just to build our faith. So that's one of my book club, and I have run several book clubs, and several more will be coming out, very soon. So just stay with me. And so that's that about me and what I do. I'm also a wife and a mom. Okay. Um, I'll leave all the links, to various places where you can follow me. I give productivity tips, and I give daily productivity or weekly, because I mean it's not really daily, but just follow me on the Prep Live WhatsApp channel for productivity tips. And there you get also to have a first-hand knowledge of my next workshop or masterclass, and available free resources. So I help organizations build systems, structure, and processes using my experience as a human resource strategist and a lawyer. Because I've been called to the Nigerian bar. I was called in 2012 That's over a decade now, right? We're approaching 2 decades of being called to the Nigerian bar. Thank you once again for joining the masterclass. Okay, so we're just gonna get right on into it now. How home learning, the Prepared Child Masterclass, how home learning shapes career confidence early. Why? Because when we learn in school, the goal is for us to reinforce at home. And how do we reinforce? We reinforce by practicing at home, and that way we get to profit in our career. By the time we follow these steps, what that does for us, when the time we're intentional about it, is that you don't just leave learning, your child's learning, to the school alone. You get involved. And how do you get involved? That's why we're here, to see how home learning can shape career confidence early. I will be sharing this slide I'm using. So, yes, so just relax. I was supposed to put this together in a video, like in a live video, but yeah, my phone storage currently full. And yeah, that also reminds me that you can join the 21 days phone declutter challenge. Is coming up again pretty soon. We did it in second quarter, and the third quarter, the one for this third quarter is coming up in September. So look out for that. I'll leave the link below so that you can sign up for it. Okay, let's get right into it. So, what are we going to be covering in this masterclass? We're going to be having an introduction, and here we'll be looking at what is home learning actually, right? What is home learning and career learning? And we're also going to be looking at the three-layer engine, right? How do we connect school, home, and career? How do we connect them together? Then we'll be looking at the training window. Excuse me, why have I said that ages 5 to 17? Why are those ages irreplaceable? Excuse me. Because age 5 to 17 at the period where you have the children in school, right? That's where they're doing their elementary and their secondary school. Yeah, before they start heading out to college and university, right? So, but that window is like that's the window to lay the foundation. So that once they're now going out to once they're going entering the university, they are solid, they're entering the solid notes. And we'll also be looking at the roadmap, where the Prepared Child roadmap, the weekly plan that you can start. And how you can start implementing this immediately. Sorry, I have a cold, so hence my warm water drinking and my voice. But I'll try. I'll try. I just have to record this masterclass because it's been a while, and the initial date that we set for the masterclass, I had internet challenges, and I don't want to make it any longer than it already has taken to put this out there. And I do really appreciate you once again for signing up for this masterclass. I don't take it for granted. All right, so after looking at the Prepared Child roadmap, we'll also talk about the portfolio method, how you can start curating your child's skills before WAEC or before IGSE. Yeah, for those who are for those who are also thinking about that and looking in that direction, right? And we'll be looking at what this portfolio method means. And then I'll be sharing some templates and the 7-day challenge system that we can start to activate, all of this, to activate it. I need to bring out my notes. Give me a minute. Let me open this notes. My laptop is before me, just in case you're wondering. You can see the reflection on my glasses. The reflection is on my glasses. See, I was testing. I wanted to do this video on my. I wanted to record this video on the Package Live TV because I've done a live there before. I've done a testing live on that video. I've not done any video aside the testing. It's good yet to do, and YouTube have updated something. I need to have more shots on that video to even go live. So Hence my coming back to video. Hence my coming back to this channel to do the live, because I mean I've run several lives on this channel and I have a good number of subscribers, thank God. Okay, so while that is opening, while it's opening, I've tried to open my notes here on the system. Let's just continue. Okay, yeah, it's coming up. So we are going to start with home learning, right? What is home learning? Home learning is the learning that happens at home to support or enrich a child who is still enrolled in a traditional school. So home learning is not homeschooling. So if you're doing homeschooling, it means that your child is not even going to traditional school. But if you're doing home learning, it means your child is going to a traditional school. And yeah, your child is still going to a traditional school. But the home learning is you being intentional in supporting and enriching your child, right? Is you being is you supporting and what? Enriching your child. So it's a process, like I said earlier when I was in my introduction, of reinforcing what has been taught or learned in school in ways that are practical, and applicable to a child's behavioral character and career development. So now your child is learning addition. I mean, they're always learning addition, subtraction, and division in elementary. I think they just kind of stretch it as they move along, and then of course introduce other other topics. So while they're learning math, you get to do like mental maths with them. If I give you 1,000 naira now and I asked you to buy some biscuits, or how would you spend 1,000 naira if I wanted you to invest, to save, and to spend? Things like this. And this alone, you're reinforcing addition. You're also teaching financial literacy, just like that. Just like that. I mean, they've even learned money in school. Remember, they've learned money while they're doing all these things. Part of the addition is, I think there's a point where they will learn money and then they will start adding with the money. If Ade bought 100 oranges, or if he had 100 naira and he bought oranges for 70 naira, what is his balance? All of these are called mental maths. But you can also practice it. You can also reinforce this lesson at home. And how do you do that? Is by always making sure that you're looking into their books, right? So when they bring their homework home, take your time to look at it, to know exactly what they are learning currently in school, because that's the way that you're able to now, reinforce what's being taught. Just make it practical. Yeah, make it practical. That way, and applicable to the child's behavior. That way, you're building their behavior, their character, and as well as their career development. You're beginning to see their interests, right? You're beginning to see their interests. So, where's my notes? The note has popped up. Okay, that's good. So I have my notes and my slides. Okay. Um, okay, so homeschooling, like I said, you're replacing traditional school completely. Here, the parent or the guardian becomes the full-time teacher and the school administrator. Yeah, because homeschooling, you really have if you want to do homeschooling, you really have to structure what your child is learning, so that way it can show that they're truly learning what they need to be learning in that stage of their life. Because I think children in homeschooling now are writing first living certificate now here in Nigeria, because I know that homeschooling is now is no longer new in Nigeria. There are some people who are really pushing towards that angle. Okay, so what's the main point in homeschooling? The parent is the teacher and the principal. So why I said the principal is that you're not just teaching randomly. You still have to structure your learning, Yeah, you still have to structure your curriculum. You choose your curriculum, you teach lessons, you you give grades, and you keep records of these things, because imagine you want to now apply for that child's first school living certificate. It has to be shown that the child has been learning, right? Because you're not in a traditional school. So home learning is a formal alternative to public or private schools, and sometimes it often requires registration with education board or the state where you're in, and it's full time. Like you have to invest 3 to 6 hours a day, 5 days a week. Like it's literally a school. The only difference is that it's at home and it's run by the parents. Um, and lately, some people are even bringing up a new concept of homeschooling, where they go and drop off their child in that particular location. Yeah, but that's new and upcoming. So what's the curriculum looking like now for homeschooling? The curriculum is 100% your choice. You're choosing what your child wants to learn: national, international, Christian, Montessori, and all of that. But you're still going to deliver the entire K-12 education at home through to graduation, right? You're still going to use the curriculum. And when I'm talking K-12, I'm talking British curriculum. Okay, so yeah. So, like, you have an 8 year old, you still have to teach that child maths, English, science, Bible daily, okay, using your chosen curriculum. Like, when I say curriculum now, that's the topics that will be going, the topics and the scheme of work that will be in these subjects, right? So, the child is not enrolled in any external school. You are the school. So, but home learning, this happens at home, right? You're supporting and enriching a child who is still enrolled in a traditional school. And what's the main point here, or what's the main role here? The parent is the coach. You're now standing in as a coach and a tutor, right? You're not a teacher, you're just a coach and a tutor. That's now your role. And the school is still setting the curriculum, they're still the one doing the teaching, they're still the one doing the grading. You're not grading at home, okay? Unless your child is, doing an activity and you have to mark it, then you're not using that grade for like anything. You're just using that to assess the child as per that activity. Um, oh, sorry, this code. So, what's the legal status now of home learning? The legal status for home learning that is supplementary, so you don't need to register it. Your child is already in the school, right? You're just doing home learning at home. So, home learning is not like something that you need to now go and register or something. It's just a practice. Home learning is more of a way of life. It's a lifestyle. And guess what? What's the time involved? It's not full time, because the child is already going to. I feel like I need to elevate this phone. Yeah, this is looking bad. I had to elevate the phone, but let me use something to support. Let me use something to support. Let me get a book, or some books rather, to support it behind so it doesn't fall on me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think this is better because of the lightning is now a lot better. All right, so let's continue. Sorry about that. So the time involved. Remember that for homeschooling, you're doing it 3 to 6 hours. Like you really have to involve time, because remember that you're cutting across subjects. You have a timetable, you have a curriculum, all of that, and you need to like hit your goal. And that's where home learning is now different. With home learning, it's part time. 15 minutes is already enough. Yeah, 15 minutes is already enough to achieve whatever goals you've set. So between 15 minutes to 2 hours every day after school, right? Or during weekends or during holidays, you can achieve, all of any of the goals you have set for your home learning, for your child's home learning. Okay, so for curriculum, the school is still the one doing all the core subjects. What your focus is on reading, basically your Bible plan, project, life skills. Like these are the core character. Building character and capacity. Like this is the core of and career learning. These are the core of what your focus is when you're doing home learning. Reading and literacy, building plan, projects, life skills, building character, career learning. And what's the goal for home learning? Like I said, is to reinforce school work, is to build habits, good habits, is to close the gaps and explore interests. You see your child is interested in something, you explore that interests you. You know, look into it closer. You close the gaps. And what are the gaps? The math teacher is just teaching maths and trying to help the child understand that particular formula. You are using it into applications and you're telling the child, we're going to work on our Excel sheet. That's something, that was one activity we put up for spring, in our spring holiday activity book. I also leave a link to that so that you can also download it. The good thing with this home holiday book activity series is that you can always, once you download one, you can always reuse. And I left it in the Word. No, it's a PDF, so you can always still copy and now put in it's like a template. Yeah, that's just the word. It's a template that you can always improve upon. So one of the things, I digress, but I'm going somewhere. One of the activities I put in our spring holiday activity, that's with my son right now because we've been doing home learning since 2021. Yeah, we've been doing home learning since 2021. Okay, so back to my flow of thoughts. So one of the activities I had put in there was Excel sheets, right? We needed to start learning Microsoft Excel. He has learned Word documents. He can type on Word documents. Even though we're still learning Word document, like one of the things we're doing this summer is letter, how to write a letter in Word documents. The reason why it even popped, I wouldn't have even thought about this letter, but there are some letters I've seen in the last 3 months, in the past 3 months in my office. There's some letter that have crossed my office table, and my emails. And when I'm thinking about the years of practice or the experience that these employees have, like these workers have, like they are not entry staff, they are experienced. When I think about the experience that they have, I'm wondering why they should be making such an error in their letters and emailing. Like I literally feel like I have to teach emailing again. In fact, I was even thinking of teaching Kevin email, but I think I'm going to pause because one of the activities too we're also doing this holiday is, sorry, you're not gonna see this in you're not going to see it clearly, but it's an introduction to email. I remember when I saw this book, I just had to pick it up. So good, so good. It's on in mind. Okay, but now I'm thinking of so needed. But anyways, yeah, because they start building these things, these skills now, and then it stays with them, forever. It stays with them forever. So even with the Word documents, you're improving on the learning, right? You're improving. So what we did, he's doing computer classes, and I even want to do this a basic digital literacy training, like a full curriculum training for him. Yeah, with the package life enterprise certificate. Do you understand what I mean? Okay, but he knows he's familiar with the keyboard. He was using it for other things, but yeah, now we're now typing so that we can improve his typing skills and typing speed. If we start early, then that means that's something that we could be smiling at in the nearest future. So, um, Where was I? Okay, so reinforcing, so home learning is about reinforcing schoolwork, building habits, closing gaps, like I said, and exploring interests. The child still attends school, so they're still doing their 7:30 to 2 p.m., 3 p.m., or 4 p.m., as the case may be for your child's school. Then once they get back home, after the after school routine, you can now help with homework and then set your reading goals, have a family, a Bible plan, you can now begin to implement any of the areas you're looking at when it comes to home learning with your child. So the school still exists. When you're thinking about learning at home, when you're thinking about home learning, excuse me, the school still exists, but the home adds value. The home adds what? Value. Okay, so yeah, so home learning is not replacing the school. No, home learning does not replace the school. So with home learning, what you're doing is having goals, right? It's having annual goals, quarterly goals, or termly goals. You can even make the goals termly and annually so that way it can sync with the new academic year. Like one of the things we're going to be doing, one of the things that's upcoming for the Package Life Enterprises is the Prepared Child Workshop. Over the years, what I usually do for summer is have a vision board workshop. But now I want it to be all encompassing. So I'm going to just call it a vision board workshop. I'm calling it the Prepared Child Workshop. And this is because the child, I want the child to understand preparation. Yeah. I want the child to understand preparation. How prepared are you for learning? So I want them to go into 2026, 2027 academic session prepared, understanding what it fully means to be prepared. To be prepared means that every weekend you check in, you make sure your shoes have been polished. You make sure if you're polishing, if you're already polishing your shoes by yourself, then you do that. Is that your chore? If that's not your chore, then you see to it that it's done by reminding your parents and all of that. My son is already setting goals. He sets weekend goals, and part of his weekend goals is remind mom or dad to clean my shoes. um so do the laundry, ironing the school uniform. Then not just that's weekend though, then every day during the week you bring out the uniform for the next day. My son already he knows that is his job, that is his job, that is his he does that. And I want him to be responsible for that, because you're teaching him responsibility with that. You're letting him own his learning, so that way when he gets to school he's already prepared, he's already waiting for school. There's some days where he's feeling a bit tired or weak, and I tell him, okay, do we now stop school for today? And he's like, no, no. What does that mean? He has already been thinking about the school the night before. And so ain't nothing stopping me from the school or the activity. Like now in some days, on some particular days, there is game day, they're learning their board games. So he takes his board game to school. So imagine that he's already packed that board game the night before. Ain't nothing stopping. No cold or sickness is going to stop him for, how children are and their play, that little time of play, they cherish it so much. So that way the child is prepared, the child understands what it means to prepare, because we're always prepping. The thing about prep and the prep life, the thing about staying prepared is that we use it daily. We are always prepping. Moms, I mean parents, not just moms now, parents are always prepping. You're always prepping. Why you're doing that budget is because you're prepping. You don't want things to take you by chance. You're planning your budget, your expenses, using your income to check what your expenses is looking like, your savings, your investments, and then you're planning your meals. you know Planning your meals is not just putting it on the it's not just putting it in the notes now, the meals, or having a timetable. It's beyond that. It's going to the market, buying the right ingredients, coming back home, preparing those ingredients, preparing them in a way that you can that it is prepped, and waiting to be used for the meals. So um doing laundry, folding laundry, ironing, I mean, why do we even have to iron? We iron because we don't want an event to get you to catch you unawares, or you running late. You so preparation is a lifestyle. It's something we do all the time, daily. We do it daily. So our children needs to begin to understand, what it means to be prepared, what it means to, and preparation makes you stay ahead, especially when you do it early. When you do it early. Okay, so what you're doing with home learning is you're creating routines. You're setting goals, using the academic session. You're also setting termly goals. Termly goals would be nice. I would have said quarterly goals, but let's leave quarterly goals to the adults. And for the children, just use termly goals. That way, they're already in the system and they can understand that, right? Termly goals, holiday goals, um, reading habits, building reading habits. Reading habits is so important. What reading can do to our children is beyond, it's beyond. Reading takes them far and close, wild, and make them curious, all from reading. So reading, you can't even skip it. And when I say reading, I mean everything. Reading everything. Nothing is left out. Reading storybooks, you're reading literatures, they're reading history books, they're reading maps, they're reading organization books, whatever books you have in your home and your child is reading, they should get reading. Yeah. Reading the Bible, um, yeah, generally. Reading inspirational books, self, this is another good book. Um, what am I going to do now with all this book I'm sharing? So I'm going to leave the link to the home learning campaign group that you can join. So there I would be leaving the pictures of anything that I show you on screen, because I don't think you're going to be seeing it in the order that it should be seen, because I'm using the front view of my phone, not the back. So the title of this book is The 1 Minute Organizer, Plain and Simple, 500 Tips for Getting Your Life in Order, by Donna Smalling, the author of Organizing Plain and Simple. So I love this book because 500 tips. So they are very, very short tips. They're very, very short tips. They've been grouped in chapters. In chapters, it has 8 chapters and 2 parts. The first one is getting organized. The second one is staying organized. And these are books that your child could read. Any books you have, Chicken Soup for the Soul, great books. They should just read. Reading about countries. I have some books also in the main office. I have some books on countries. I think I have one on Dubai, Germany. The reading is not is it exclusive? That is a word now. Yeah, it's not exclusive. It's not a particular. No, they should read wild. They should read wild. This guy's book. What is his name? Ben Carson, thank you. All Ben Carson. Ben Carson is quite an inspiration for young. I feel like he's a good inspiration for young people. From the big picture to think big, and yeah, from think big, because think big is the first book I read about, Ben Carson. From think big to the big picture, yeah, to all the works of the books that he has. Rick Warren is also another good author for children. The Purpose Driven Life. Let me put that one up on the screen too. Purpose Driven Life. Goals by Brian Tracy. These are books that your children should be familiar with before 17. Yeah, that's serious. I'm really, really serious. They should be familiar with these books. Yeah, because there's just the way that child's brain will be working. Trust me, when they read these books. Okay, so we can, then projects too. Back to what I was saying. I was saying that with home learning, what you're setting out, what you're looking at, while the structure, that's cool, uses is, or school, or those doing homeschooling, is curriculum, lesson plans, timetable. For home learning, you could set a timetable for home learning. Like this summer holiday, we're setting a timetable. So I want us to look at we're doing our day outlook. Kevin has done that before as an activity in his home learning journal, where he just wrote down what his day looks like. Okay, so we're going to use that as a template to create something for the summer holiday, so that we can block our time and know what when we're doing what. Yeah, I don't want him just randomly. When we wake up every day, we start thinking about what we're doing. No, that's not going to help my flow, because I'm still working. But yeah, we need to be in the flow this summer. So while the traditional school and homeschooling um, have curriculum, lesson plans, home activity, class activity, and all of that as their structure. What home learning has as a structure is setting goals, annual goals, termly goals, routines, reading habits, and weekend or holiday projects. Right, and I mean, your one of your holiday projects can be doing one of the studying the SDGs and taking up one project in the SDG. Like, why can't your child do something in your community, in your environment? Yeah. That's what home learning is about. So that if you're that's that place of closing the gap. If the school your child is attending is not looking into these things, you as an adult, you can look into these things. And then guess what? You're building your child's portfolio. You're already building a portfolio of what they've done. And this portfolio, I don't mean start sharing to social media. If you want to share to social media, then that's fine by you. But if you don't want to, you just be keeping them. Just because once an opportunity comes, imagine applying for something and you have all of this as evidence, as proof of work done for your child. That's already setting the child ahead, ahead of other applicants. Okay, so um, okay. Mm, okay, yeah. So these are like the systems, right? The systems, and okay, let me not get ahead of myself. Let me go back. So homeschooling. So based on everything I've said now, you can now tell that homeschooling versus home learning, right? They are related, but they're not the same, because I mean they're still learning. You're with homeschooling, you're replacing traditional school entirely. With home learning, your child is still enrolled in a school, right? Yeah, let's move down. So with homeschooling, you run the school. With home learning, you're partnering with the school, which is where, because we do in Nigeria here, we all partner with school now. That's why we have the Parents Teacher Association, and as it should be, do not give entirely your child's learning and development to a school. Don't just say because you're going to school you'll not be involved. No, no, my dear, please be involved. You're a partner. You're partnering with the school to see, because you are the one who has a child. You're the one who has the goals. You're the one who knows where you want that child to go. You're the one who knows what you want the child to accomplish. And so you're partnering with the school. So if the school is not giving you enough, and sometimes you all know that this also has to do with finance, you don't have to beat yourself about it. Get back into your books, sit down, plan. Or better still, join the home learning inner circle, or chat me up for a one-on-one consultation and we get you a plan. And we get you a plan. Okay, so I'm going ahead of myself talking about the home learning inner circle, but I'll talk more about it as we go along. Okay, so now we're connecting. Um, we are connecting. So we just finished going through our introduction, right? No, we're not through with the introduction. Let's look at career learning. What is career learning? Let me bring out my notes to say. So just as a phrase, school gives you knowledge. With school, you're acquiring what? Knowledge. With career learning, you are leveraging. Yeah, you are doing what? Leveraging. And let me tell you how what I mean by that. Let's look at career learning. So, with career learning, you're not just going to school. Career learning is an intentional learning that is tied to work and income. With career learning, you're already thinking work and income, right? You're learning with the goal of, let's take this, as the definition for career learning. Sorry, I have to get my face too well. Like, see all the things I have beside me. Face too well. Inhaler one, please. You guys, pardon me. Pardon me. I just have this masterclass. Just have to come up live. So please. This is not how we do it. But maybe on the other hand, maybe that's why the package live, the my other YouTube channel, my business YouTube channel, maybe that's why it didn't go through. Because imagine putting all of these on that page. I don't think I want that. But this page is a homey page, right? At home with Vicky. So we're at home recording this. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Back to it. Back to it. But first, let's sip some warm water. The warm water is helping, okay, because I'm observing that my throat is even becoming a bit clearer. Okay, so what is career learning? Career learning is learning with the goal of starting, growing, or switching career. The truth is actually career learning is not something you're only doing, we're doing for children. It's something that even adults get to do. I mean, when you want to switch up a career, when you're transitioning into another career, you're gonna have to learn, you're gonna have to do some studies, right? But for the sake of our children, career learning is not just going to school, it is an intentional learning that is tied to skills, work, and income. I'm sure you're wondering, already? Yes, so already the child has to begin to understand work ethics, income. The home does not run itself. Mommy and daddy are working so that we can make money, and this money runs the home. This money takes care of our feeding, which is our body. It takes care of our clothing, which is our outlook. It takes care of our well-being, which is the home management and maintenance. It's not small thing now. You just wake up one morning and that's it. The switch is no longer working. It has to be fixed. Like, yeah, that's the standard in my home. Something is not working, it has to be fixed. Is that thing will excuse us, but if it still has to be in that house, then it's gotta be fixed. If it has to be in Vicky Presh Dynasty, it's gotta be fixed. So what that means is random, just you need to have that cash because cash is king. But cash is not king if you're not working, if you're not making money. And how do we make money? Skills. We're using our skills, we're using our qualifications and all of that. So intentionally teaching the children, that we're not just going to school, we're not just going to we're not just going to school. We have to acquire skills. So they should take that speaking skills seriously in their literacy class. They should take reading skills seriously because your reading skills and comprehension are that's your bench that's benchmark now. Yeah, that is like your foundation for being successful. Your communication skills, very important. So your speaking skills, your vocabulary, your pronunciations, your fluency, your coherence, all of these you will get through your comprehension, your reading skills, your writing skills, your listening skills, and your speaking skills. Like, yeah. I'm sure you guys are wondering what I'm talking about. English language. I'm talking about English language broken down into different sections. But they have to take it. So career learning is learning in plain English. In plain English, leave all that thing I've been saying. Leave all that big English I've been talking about. Starting, growing, or switching your career. That one is for adults. But it's not just going to school. Intentionally time skill you're learning is learning is is intentional learning tied to work and income. Yeah, that's the definition you can use for your children. But let's look at several other, let's break it down too as well. So career learning is learning skills people will pay you for. Yeah, come closer. That's learning. So what are the skills now for our children? Like I said, the first one, everybody, communication skills. I watched a video yesterday. Oh my God. I'm going to drop that video I'm going to drop that video in the home learning campaign group. You may have come across it, of a young man who's 26 and who is building cars that we have not seen before, whose whole passion in life is to build cars. Like that's mechanical engineering. He's been doing stuff. I think he said he started from paper. So for those who are thinking paper crafts, for those who are thinking we are playing with paper crafts, come closer, because guess what? Either Tulsa King, or if Innocent doesn't pick him up fast, then Tulsa King is coming in. I said, what am I saying? Is it Tesla? Elon Musk? Who are those people in cars? Please, you guys leave their name in the comment section. Help me if I bite my tongue. But you know what? Yeah, those automobile industries are gonna pick that young man very soon. You know what the internet can do. But he's here, a Nigerian, no, a Nigerian, yeah. And I don't. The guy, someone saw him, picked him up, and was interviewing him right from the open space, like a garage kind of space, at Ikeja there, where he has built this amazing vehicle. They did a test run, and he said he was just using two equipment. But guess what? He was not speaking fluently. He was coherent, like we could understand what he was. That's what coherence mean, right? You could understand what he was saying. He was flowing, but he was not fluent. I mean, his pronunciation, he was not speaking correct sentences. That's the word. And guess what? Yeah, he said it took him ages. It took him how many years to finish secondary school? Like at a point, he was paying teachers to finish secondary school. Then people around him, his uncles, his relatives, they really wanted him to go to school and all of that. He tried going to the university, and yeah, it wasn't working for him. This is that thing. That's why you need to come into my career development coaching. Come if you need one-on-one. I always tell parents it's good to, we're the guardians, so we are the ones set to pave to understand that our child, to look at that child and say, yeah, you're really very good with fashion. So what you're going to go and study in school should be business administration, so that it can help you to enhance your fashion skills. This is how children, this is how you should sit on the conversation table when you're having career decisions with your child. But you wouldn't know if the child is really good with fashion now if you yourself have not invested in taking. So I'm digressing a little bit, but it's still for a good cause. So that's what you're doing between 5 and 17. That period, that elementary and secondary school, please, primary and secondary school period, observe your child. Begin to find out their interests, begin to find out their strengths, build on it. Build on it and see if truly they are really passionate about this, because that can help with the course they are studying in school. That you study business administration does not mean you need to work somewhere. It could just be studying it to build your own business. Can we come from that perspective in Nigeria? Can everybody not, can we let it known? Can it be made known to children that entrepreneurship is not difficult, it's not a hard thing to do? And can we also be parents who are supporting and pushing them in that direction? While the child is now, while you've understood that the child is doing business administration in school, but their sole true passion is fashion, then they're still using their holiday period to learn their fashion designing. They have their sewing machine at home, or if If they're in school and they're living alone, then they have that machine in school, so they're still practicing. Then they finish school immediately. You're already talking about their business name. You're already registering their business for the with the knowledge that child has in business administration. They're gonna be high flyers. They're gonna be high flyers in that fashion business. So this is what we should be thinking about when it comes to career. Your child can talk. Your child loves talking. Please, it's not law. Law is not the cause for the child. Have you thought about mass comm? Have you thought about mass communication? Because mass communication, what stems from there is broadcasting. Your child loves talking. They could be in the media. They could be doing it. They could be doing journalism. They could be doing all of that. Have you thought about that? Your child loves talking. And when you say they love talking, what does it mean exactly? Does it mean that they like having conversations? Or are they talking in a way where they're giving instructions? Then you begin to know whether, okay, classroom will be a good place for you. And classroom doesn't only mean primary school. Classroom also means university. They could be lecturers. They could be aiming for that, right? And then you now look at, okay, what subject interests you the most? What subjects do you absolutely love to talk about? That's already a foundation. That the child is already going. So these are what we should be looking at but home learning is what, yeah. If you're not doing home learning, how? If you're not intentional about home learning, you can't discover these things. You will not. If all you're doing with your child is just they go to school, you do their homework, and that's it, come on in 2026, no. Sign up, subscribe to the Home Learning Inner Circle. Okay, so now let's break down career learning. Career learning is learning skills people will pay you for. What kind of skills are we looking at here? Coding, teaching. So your child tells you they love to teach. Don't wait for them to start. No, it's not until they enter uni. It's not until they finish university that they'll start teaching. From um from secondary school, even from primary, they could start teaching if they have younger siblings, they can start teaching their younger siblings. Yeah. Make them teach their younger siblings. Make them start a class, a tutoring class in secondary school. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You truly love teaching. Let's see it. Because the truth is it's so good. It's enough to just this one or something. This person will be a teacher. It's so good to just be saying all of that. But it's better when they're already practicing, when they're already in that, when they're already building their skills in that angle. It can also help them to when they're putting in. It could also help them when they're packaging their CVs, showing work experiences. So they could do internship. I interviewed someone recently who is a third year student studying an educational course, and she was already she wanted to teach part-time. That's good. I applaud that. People in universities should be working, please. Not full-time roles, at least part-time roles. Let's get into this shift system in this country. I'm digressing. Okay. So they're learning skills people will pay them for, like coding. Coding is hot cake now, all these programming things and all of that. Teaching, sales. Some you already know. You have that. Yes, I'm talking to you. You have that child in your house who can convince you. Yeah, they just have that way of convincing you. Like, before you know it, they already said, mommy, mommy, and before you know it, you're already leaning towards their side. Those guys are gonna be good sales guys. Those ones are already heading towards sales now. And remember that sales is always, there's no company that's not looking for sales, marketing, and all of that. They're not looking for sales people. Baking, these are skills too. Data analysis, public speaking. Your child's like I said, public speaking is not communicate. I just put public speaking down to communicate. I don't even know why I wrote public speaking there. Communication skills is what I call it. Everybody should know it. Everybody should have it. Imagine that young guy who I told you I watched the video of. Imagine he could speak very well, even if he did not I'm not bothered whether you went to university or not. Really, yeah. Because what I feel is that primary school and secondary school education should give you a very solid foundation to come up well and speak correct sentences. After all, that one is because you're interviewing him or because he did something else with his brain. I met people while I was serving who could not make correct sentences and they were coppers. Hmm. So please, training means while your child are in primary through secondary school, ensure they are speaking properly. Ensure they've built their communication skills already. Because there's no other thing you're going to learn about communication in the university. This is it. This is where it all ends. Primary and secondary school. Yeah. After I studied law, they did not teach me English now. I was not learning English. Yeah. Everything you need to know about sentence construction, speaking correctly, punctuations, intonation, primary and secondary school. If you don't get it, then you ain't getting it again. If you don't get it there anyway, you can still get it. There's always room for growth. I mean, learning is forever. Yeah, there's no late time to pick up. So understanding how industries actually work, that is career learning. They're learning skills, right? Very good. Are they also understanding how industry work? You're a lawyer. There was a time I used to tell one of my closest friends that you're a lawyer, your child wants to study law. Has she ever followed you to court? Has she gone to the chambers? Has she done internship? Come on, parents, come on. You work in the bank and your child is also thinking of becoming a banker or thinking towards that sector. Do you understand how the industry works? And beyond how the industry actually work, are we now looking at what job exists? What are the jobs that exist in that industry? What are the jobs that exist in the legal sector? What are the jobs that exist in the educational sector? What are the jobs that exist in the agriculture, in the technology sector, in content creation, creative industry, right? It's called creative industry. So what are these industries? Have you even mapped out industries? Have you taught your children? Career learning is actually letting the child understand the different industries that exist, not just in Nigeria, globally. Globally, what are these industries paying, and what does growth looks like? What does growth look like in these industries? That is career learning. There's another aspect of career learning. Another aspect of career learning is building the habits and mindset of a professional. How do you do that? The very first one is the prepared child. Having your child understand that preparation is very important. You cannot throw away preparation. It's good to prepare. We prepare for every preparation. We prepare for everything. Our entire existence was prepared for. So why shouldn't we get into the program? Why shouldn't we get into the program? Ephesians 2:10 says that for we are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God had prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. Just look at that. You're not here by accident. We're not even here in this world by accident. We are prepared. Yeah. You know how you're fixing things, okay? Like those data analysts who are trying to, or those when you're trying to put your power presentation, or those of you who design on Canva, and you're just trying to put things in place so that it comes. That is how you were put in place. You are not, you didn't just happen. You were meant to be here. Do our children know that? That's the foundation for preparation. That's the foundation to let you know that preparation is as important. Yeah, very important. So, how are we building the habits? How are we building the mindset of a professional? What is their, we talk about work ethics. as people who are working, whether you're self-employed or whether you're employed, you have to have work ethics. And what does work ethics simply meaning knowing when to do what, um, knowing which task, prioritizing the task that comes in first, right? Knowing when it's work time, taking work time seriously, not letting yourself get distracted, social media, your phones, and all of it. That's the same way you're also going to build the mindset of a professional in your child. Class ethics. Now there's this course called classroom management for teachers that teachers take. They take classroom management to manage their classroom, because they're managing the classroom from their books organization, from the learners books organization, to learners behavior, to, to the period following, the timetable, assessing their progression, or with, and their engagement, how they relate with their class activities, their home activities, all of that. If a teacher is going through all of this course to understand classroom management, why should your child now be the one that wants to come there and be the one disturbing the class? No. Children should learn classroom ethics. In fact, that should be a course: classroom etiquette, classroom ethics. And yeah, you say, oh, but they're just children. There's time for everything. Remember? Yeah. So there's a time to play. There's a time when we're being relaxed in the classroom, right? There's a time where we want quiet. There's a time when we want engagement, conversation. There's a time when we're learning. There's a time where we're doing our class activities. There's a time where we're doing assessments, so nobody's talking. There's a time where we're doing exams. All of these class ethics are very important. So how do you show up? A farmer, imagine a farmer says, I'm going to the farm. I need to go and check on the plants, on my plants. I need to go and see how they are doing. And you just thrown in there without any hoe, without no tools. Come on. We'll have to ask him, are you really sure? Are you sure it's farm you're going to? That's the same way to ask your child. That's the same way your child should not show up to school without their writing materials, without their jotters or their journal, their learning journals. Call it learning journals, not even jotters now. Learning journals. Aside their subject note, they should have a learning journal. They should just put in there their personal learning journal for any other learning, any other thing that pops up. Are they really that? Are they prepared? Do they go to school and forget their homeworks and all of that? So they start thinking like a professional, because this is how it starts. Are you checking to be sure they've done their home activity, so that their homework or home activity, and so that when they get to class, that's submitting their home activity, and then you say, and then a child will be saying, I didn't do mine. How does that even work? No. When you didn't have like a crisis, or you were not feeling down on all of, and even if they're feeling down, the parents should write a note to that regard. My child could not do this based on this. Can we have another chance to do the home activity? Do you understand? All of this is teaching the child professionalism. It's teaching the child what to take, how life should be taken seriously. Yeah. School should be taken seriously. That's how they are building the work, who they want to be as a professional. It's through school. That's the only thing that we're telling them to go and do as parents now. That's like, do well in your academics. Learn. Don't just shine, actually learn, actually apply what you're being taught in school. So we need to emphasize on that. Your children's teacher can only do so much, or so little. Yeah, they can only do as much. We have to partner with them on this. So building, see how I sat on this one. Yeah, because this is like the core. You might have to pay someone to tell you, to even help you understand how industry actually work. I mean, that's where I come in. You might also have to pay people for learning skills, But see this number 3, this building a habit, you can do it alone. You can do it on your own as a parent. Building the habits and mindset of a professional. You can help your child. You can do that at home. And that involves communication, time management. How do they manage their time? Do they even understand that we have 24 hours a day? Is the 24 hours of your children accounted for? Is yours even accounted for? You need to join the prep room. You need to join a prep room for that if you're a parent. Join the prep room. But is your 24 hours accounted for? I'm laughing because when I say is 24 hours of a child accounted for, I'm sure you're wondering like, Vicky, how did we get here? But we get here if you as a parent already can account for your own 24 hours. Oh my god, sorry about this. Is yeah, it's really cracking me up. Because you have to understand that your 24, you have to understand what your 24 hours look like. And that's what we do with the prep life planner and the prep room. Yeah. Okay. Communication, time management, problem solving. There's a problem at home. You ask your child, how do we solve it? Or you're watching maybe like a documentary or something, or you went out and something happened in the environment and your child, and probably you're lamenting on it, or your child is even seeing what happened. You have a sit down. That's a conversation starter for you. And you tell the child, how can we solve this problem? What do you think are the solutions, are the way forward for this? And you may have a conversation. Then you're also building leadership habits. How do you build leadership habits? Ownership. You see all that preparation that your child is already doing, setting their school uniform without being told. That is leadership. You're already teaching the child. Organization, organizing their drawers, where they keep their drawers, their shelves, their bookshelves, their clothes drawers, where they fold their clothes, arrange it properly, arrange their books, arrange their toys for those who are still playing with toys. That's leadership already happening. Mm-hmm. It's not until you bring a book on leadership that you started teaching leadership by everyday practice. After organization, keeping things where they should be. After you're done using it, can you go and place it back where it should be? Yeah, because imagine a scattered leader. Imagine a leader who is chaos. It will show. It will show. It will still show eventually. It will show. So then the fourth one is making learning match your season. So what does this mean? A student learns differently from a mom returning from work. A student also learns differently from a teacher who is pivoting to tech, right? So you have to make the learning match your season. So you're a mom who is working, who is running a business. That's learning too. That's learning for your child to grow into. That's learning already, first-hand learning for you to transfer to your child. So how is career learning different from regular learning or traditional learning? So regular learning or traditional learning is the school, going to school. How is it different? With yeah. Okay, so regular learning, you're learning for with regular learning, you're learning for fun or grades, right? I mean, you're being introduced to all these subjects, all this awareness about your body, about plants, about the world, map reading, and all of that. So, learning is fun. Learning is fun. But you're learning for fun. You're also learning for grades. At the end of the day, you say, okay, we're finished enjoying this lesson on King Jaja of Opopo. That's for history. We'll finish enjoying this lesson on on kitchen. That's for provocational. Or we finish this learning, they're going to test your knowledge. So you're going to have your assessment test, your continuous assessment, and you're also going to sit for exams to say, do you really understand what has been taught? So with regular learning and traditional learning, you're learning for fun and grades. With career learning, you're learning for what? Income and impact. You're learning for skills, or you could put it into three, just because the child is not earning yet, even though that is the problem. They should start understanding now that, yeah, income Income is how we get things rolling. Income is how you're paying for your rent. Income is how you're living in your own home. Income is how you have a car, how you're able to fuel your car. They should begin to understand that these things are not fairy tales. Yeah, they're not fables. This is the real life, real life. Please, they should begin to learn all of that. So, career learning is when you're learning for skills, income, and impact. So, your child tells you they love history, or you observe that your child loves history. What do you begin to do? You begin to look at what you're studying history for. Are they studying history? You begin to look at ways that history can be progressed, or how history, the subject history, can be a career path. So you can study history to become a teacher, a curator, a writer. Think about the works. Excuse me. Okay, so regular learning and traditional learning has no deadline. It has deadline per se, but when I mean that it has no deadline, or let me rephrase. Let me say traditional and regular learning has specific subjects, right? That they have specific topics that they have to objectives. They are learning this is better. With regular learning and traditional learning, they are learning objectives that has to be ticked, right? But with career learning, it's more of a goals thing. You have to set goals. What am I looking in terms of career learning? What goals am I setting for my child this holiday? What skills, what new skills do I want them to learn? What um, acquired skills do I want them to build upon? Um, and so you need to set goals like land an internship by so and so. That's if you have older children in the university now. This is also for you. If you have older children in the university, you will not longer be doing home learning. Yeah, what you now be doing with them is only career learning. It's just making sure that you're following them up in their career paths or in building that career, Yeah, career. So, the internship, okay. Is there a YouTube video that you want to watch that is educating on something? Yeah, that also works with home learning. Um, is there a course that you want the child to learn? Is there a topic? Like for us currently, we're looking at goal setting. Kevin is currently reading a book on goal setting. And that's because we've been doing goals. I have been doing goals. Basically, I put up this weekend goals. Where is it? I put up weekend goals every time. Oh, it's closed. It's covered. I put weekend goals, and Kevin and I walked through them. He's been seeing me doing it for years now, and this term we just concluded. I'm like, wait a minute. Why am I the only one setting weekend goals in this house? Come, young man. Come, come onto, come into there. I want to speak one of all this King James English. Come in there to come hither to. I'm like, young man, we have to start setting your weekly goals and your week goals. So he's already familiar with the week. Like he knows that we are in week 31. He knows we have 52 weeks. I mean, he's been taught that in school as well. But even before he was taught that, we're already running in weeks because he used that to set his Bible reading goals. He set his Bible reading goals by himself. Yeah, his Bible morning reading goals. He set that one by himself. He's crafted that one by himself. I've already given him the structure for that. And so he used week. So as the week is ending, he's setting for the other week. Sometimes he even goes as far as doing for 4 weeks straight up. And so he already understands this. So I'm like, wait, so I shouldn't be the only one doing weekend goals in this house. Come, you're going to join me. So we started doing weekend goals, and When we started doing weekend goals, it now occurred to me that we should have a week goal. Please, come on. There's some things I'll be reminding him of. I was like, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do this. I'm like, no, no, no. You're having a journal for your weekly goals. So that's it. He has a journal for weekly goals, and in that journal, they're in two parts: goals for the week and weekend goals. So, like for example, week 32, because that's the week we're entering into now. Because we're entering weekend. Our weekend goals usually starts from Friday, by the way. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's how we set it. Because from Friday, that's relaxed. Just because just because I know I'm not going to work, I'm usually relaxed, so I can stay up late. And he also has Friday is a stay up late day for him. He can stay up late on Fridays. So that way we can start setting our uh, weekend goals. Sorry. We start setting up our weekend goals. um, yeah. So with home learning, you're setting goals, right? You're and these goals have like specific the deadlines. Yeah, you want to achieve this by this, you want to do this by this, you have projects, you have portfolio that you want to build, and all of that. So let's now look at the types of learning, the three types of career learning that we do every day. Remember, I told you that career learning is something that we do every day. That you are already doing it, and you already have the skills to actually walk your way through this. But of course, the home learning campaign group and the home learning inner circle group is also here to keep pushing you, to keep pushing you so we can work together. So the three types of learning, we have formal learning, informal learning, and experiential learning. For the formal learning, that's where we talk about our degrees, our certificates, first school living certificates, the WIAC certificate, your degrees, your online courses, and all the other skills too that you're acquiring, like Google data analytical certificates and those skills. Then your informal learning is when you're watching a professional, an expert on YouTube, you're shadowing a colleague, you're reading industry blogs. Yeah. So for understanding how industry works, are you your child says they want to sorry, I keep using fashion. I keep using me, I'm speaking to somebody here. I'm already solving someone's home learning, okay, so your child said they want to go into fashion, they're interested in fashion, they're interested in skin. I just got one information from one of my home learning parents, one of my home learning inner circle member, that one of her child is has interest in skincare. And I said immediately she gave me that, like, are you following this, are you following this person on social media? And she should go and start following them. So follow this in the I mean this some of these people have their pages, you can follow them. There are also magazines, buy those magazines for them. Yeah, buy those magazines for them, let them read about experts and those making impacts, household name in those industries. What else? Informal learning is also, you can learn Canva from tutorials. Do you know that? Yeah. So there are all several videos online of how to learn Canva. Is your child can learn Canva this holiday? Oh, sure, I think I want Kevin to learn Canva this holiday. I want him to learn Canva this holiday. Okay, so your child can learn Canva. They can learn CapCut, InShots, like this video. Remember that this active. Remember that this learning, these skills too, are also, you also have to, age appropriate. You also have to make sure the child is appropriate for this age to learn this. There's no point learning something they're not going to be using. If your child is already in primary two, right? From primary two, they can start learning Canva. You can start learning Canva. And how do they use it so that the learning is not wasted? I mean, because learning is only solidify when you're practicing, when you're applying. Learning becomes um oh what's the word? It's good when you apply. what am I saying? I'm feeling exhausted. Sorry. So learning, what shows that you've learned is when you've applied those things, right? And when you're practicing them. Sorry, I just decided to be so relaxed with this masterclass, so that when you watch this masterclass already, you already have an idea of what online is about. You already have an idea of how career learning can build confidence for your children. So that's why I'm really taking my time. Okay, I don't just want to dish it out like just reading my slides and all that. I'm taking my time to really expand on it, and so that I can always refer anyone back to this video. Please help me share, help me like this video. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Okay, let's get back to it. That was like a break in interval to get my energy rolling. Okay, so formal, the career learning we're doing every day is the formal learning, the informal learning, and then the experiential learning. So the experiential learning is where you're actually doing the work, volunteering, designing things for free. It's like when I was talking, is the flow of thoughts I wanted to cut, how I wanted to introduce the experiential learning. It's like this Canva. When you learn Canva now, when your child learns Canva, it's not for them to just learn and that's just it. How about you start using the Canva to design birthday cards for your relatives? How about he is the one designing? Okay, someone's birthday, like we have a calendar where we're tracking birthdays and events here. Kevin designs this calendar. There's some videos. I have some videos on this channel about that calendar. Some short videos. Go to the shorts, you will see some of them here. Where he actually designed when he actually designs his calendar. We even need to design. The last time we designed was before he resumed for third term. We just designed for June, May, June. Yeah, he resumed third term in April. So in that April, before April, we designed for May, June, and July. Excuse me. Now I want him to design for the rest of the year. And I think we're going to. I told him the other day we're going to design for 2027. Yeah, that's it now. So you're looking for activities for the long term. This is it. These activities. These are holiday activities. I was telling him recently that we're going to design for the whole of next year. Let's why can't we be doing it 1 year? All these 2-3 months is beginning to stress me out because he's now doing it himself. So that's a paper craft. So we have these. I wish that calendar was. You know that calendar that they put on the table, then you can flip. So I got one recently. I got one last year, but it extended. It extended till May to April 2026. So I want to use that. We're going to use that to create ours. So we're going to work with the size of that calendar. He will create it and he will stick it on it. So that's it. We're doing paper crafts at the same time. He's going to learn organization, cutting, and all of that. And then we're achieving a lot. So he's going to do that, not just for this year. We're going to say from August to December, we extend it to next year. I'll probably make a video while we're doing that. So look out for that video. Okay, so that's experiential learning where you're now practicing using paper crafts and any other thing. Part of the paper crafts activities too, I want us to do this holiday. Of course, we're doing vision board. We always do. We started doing vision board for my son since 2024/2025 session. Last 2 sessions we've been doing vision board. So we did 2024, 2025, 2025, 2026, and now 2026. So this is going to be his third vision board. But the other two vision boards, we had used the same vision board. The vision board we used for 2024, 2025, we improved on it 2025, 2026. I asked him what were the things we're focusing on, and he added he was part of that activity. But this one for 2026, he's becoming fully aware. So we're not going to use that vision board. In fact, the vision board is going to be bigger. We're going to use a bigger size vision board, and yeah, he's going to plan it out and do it himself. Because we already know based on the review from our examination scripts, and based on some of the awards he received, we already know where interest is. The good thing is that you received an award this session that just concluded. Does not mean you receive the award next session, Abi, if you don't put in more, if you don't do more work. So you receive the award, beautiful. We're going to put in more work in this area. So that's those areas already are already areas of focus. They will not add the others. There was this award he wanted that he didn't get, and that's already that's already a focus for him. So he wants an award in he wants an award in that subject, but he got an award in two other subjects. So what else? So this is where experiential learning now comes in. Vision board, paper crafts. Okay, I was talking about other paper crafts we need to do. There's vision board, there's the calendar. I also want to do Bible verses. So it's not here. So over the years, I've written Bible verses like in short papers like this over the years. And some of these Bible verses have come to stay with us. Like he when I mean stay with us, I mean in terms of memorization and meditation. Like Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Um, Psalm 23. We did Psalm 23 separately, but I want him to learn it now together. I want him to learn it together. So I want to put them. So we want to do those Bible verses cards. Is a craft thing that I want to do with him. So that we can be using it. So we're not just going to be playing card like the traditional card that we know. When it's time for cards, so we'll bring out our Bible verses and we'll see how well we're doing with our verses. So these are experiential learning too for those for parents who are really grounding their children in the word of God. These are ways you can actually apply or practice what you're learning. What else? They could volunteer to manage WhatsApp group. I mean, WhatsApp groups have now beyond WhatsApp groups, they could manage a group. They could also manage a community. They could be community managers. I'm talking about your older children now. For those who are in the university, please, those in secondary school should be they should just stay out there. They should just stay away from social media. But those in the university you can now encourage them to be community managers and all of that, especially those who are interested in social media, who are going towards that angle, who you're seeing that their interest, is going towards that angle. Um, okay. Why is all of this important? Why is this career learning? Why do we have to use why do I have to explain all these forms of learning and breaking down career learning in different explanation? There's breaking it down in the building is in learning skills, understanding how industry actually work, building habits and mindset of a professional, making learning match your season. Is because this is the reason. We don't wait for opportunities. We prepare for it. So when it comes, we're ready. You want your child is aiming to be a doctor. Prepare. Prepare. It's not doctor. Doctor is not for mouth. Doctor is preparation. Your child wants to go into tech. Preparation. Okay, so your skills, all the skills that you're learning in career learning, all the skills, your skills is your elevator. No, let me read this before I break this down. Before I break this down, do you see Proverbs 29 says, do you see someone skilled in their work? They will serve before kings. And this is just me paraphrasing that verse. Someone who is skilled. So skills very important, which is why I started the career learning explanation with learning skills. Your skill is your elevator. Career learning is how you build it, how you build that capacity. And the earlier it starts, the higher it goes, or the higher it can get. So, just to give us a wrap up of what we've been talking about so far, regular learning is your foundation, understanding the world, that's understanding the world. Regular learning or traditional learning, please. That is going to school. Okay, in simple English. Regular learning and traditional learning means going to school. This is your foundation and how you understand the world. Home learning is function, is how you apply. Home learning is functional. Career learning is foundation. Home learning is functional. Is function, how you're applying whatever you're learning. Career learning is forward, is how you're thinking ahead. How can I get paid for this? How can I build my skills to the point where I am most sought after, or I'm grounded in my career path or in my field. So that is it. So with career learning, so how do we connect school then with home learning and career? Here's what it is: your child becomes educated, organized, and empowered. Because the first layer, this is also looking at the three-layer learning engine. The three-layer learning engine is your school learning, that's your regular learning, your traditional learning, your school learning, which is the core curriculum, right? Which is introducing you to all these subjects, so helping you set the foundation of understanding the world. And what's the goal? The goal is to get you educated and aware as a human being. You're educated and you're aware, you become aware. Education. That's what education is all about. And the key word here is foundation, like I said, is you're giving vocabulary, context, and critical thinking. This is where your child begins to understand critical thinking. So if the school your child is going to is not helping them with their critical thinking, please reinforce it at home. So with school learning, you're learning with regular learning, traditional learning, school, you're learning for life foundation. With home learning, you're learning for living, life skills, survival. You know, somebody say survival skills. Yes, that's part of it because if he's abroad now during the summertime, they're already doing, or this long vacation as we'll call it here in Nigeria, they are already doing summer camp, all those camp things. We started doing it in Nigeria too now. We started having all this camp and all, but our own camp, at least our own camp is not. I'm laughing because some of the time when you're watching some movies and they are going for camp, and I'm wondering why somebody will leave all the places where human beings are going into the bush for camp. But anyways, maybe those are not real life. Maybe those are just movies. Maybe they're just fiction, right? But we know they're not fiction because we know that they're crime stories that have come out from those issues. That real life crime stories have come out from those camping experiences. So children are going for camp in this period too. That's also life skills. They're also building life skills with that. So with home learning, we're looking at practical skills from cooking, baking, budgeting, chores. Chores are here to stay. They're not going nowhere. They're not going nowhere. We wear clothes every day as in when you become an adult, you won't stop wearing clothes, right? So the chores are not there's I know some child. I remember then growing up, my younger siblings, no, they will not be like there's so much work in this house. Yeah. The house will not maintain itself, the house will not manage itself. Unless you have a housekeeper. And if you don't have a housekeeper whose role is to manage the house, then everybody in the house have to do it because you are the ecosystem in that house. So there's chores, there's Bible plan, there's reading habits. And what's the goal here? The goal here is self leadership, is to build self leadership, family wellness, and peace of mind. And what's the keyword? Function, right? While you're applying your knowledge to your real daily life. Then you have career learning. Here you're learning for earning. Remember, let's go through it again. With your regular and traditional learning, you're learning for life. That's school learning. With your home learning, you're learning for living. With your career learning, you're learning for earning. You're learning because you want to know how you can make income, how you can multiply your income, and how you can do good works. And good work means your corporate social responsibility to your environment, your philanthropy, and all of that. You have to you have to have some sort of income to be able to do that, even in whatever capacity that you're doing it. So with career learning, your it's now intentional skills that are tied to income, plus professional growth. So you're looking at, and what is the goal? The goal is to get hired. The goal is to get experience. At least I said experience first, at least for the children who are just doing internship or job shadowing. They might be doing that in a voluntary capacity, in internship capacity, and they're not getting paid for it. But you are sponsoring that because you want them to have that in their CV or their portfolio. So you're getting hired, promoted, and paid. You're solving problems at work. And what's the key word for career learning? Is forward. It moves from I know this thing to I get paid for what I know. And that's it. So head in books, hands at home, heart in word, heart in the work. Okay, so that takes us to yeah. So this is how they feed off each other. With your traditional and school and regular learning, you're understanding the why the world was created. You're doing who created the world. That's um, Christian religious studies. How do our body functions? That's science. What do we eat to stay healthy? That's learning all the parts of food, right? And science too, interwoven into your maths, your addition, then how to speak correctly. That's your English language, your Igbo, your Yoruba, your French, and all of it. With school learning, you're understanding the why. With home learning, you're applying it for to live, because as human beings, every day, just to leave your house from just leave your house now. If you're using the transport system, you're boarding your transport, you're paying for your tea, for you're getting your balance. That's your everyday. That's maths. That's addition and subtraction in everyday life. Or you're using your car and you have to drive into the filling station to buy petrol to fuel the car. These are all teaching moments. So I'm telling you, these are all teaching. That's how you're applying. These are all teaching moments, reinforcing what has been taught in school. Then you have your career learning where you're turning everything that you've learned, what you now know, what you have expertise in, what you have studied, the skills you've honed. Um, yeah, you're now turning it into an income. So, like in school, you learn biology, right? But you use it to protect your family at home. And what does that mean in real life example? It means organizing your fridge to prevent food poisoning. So so you use home learning to learn what? Organization. You're learning organization. And how does that help you? It helps you to build career systems. It helps you to build career system thinking. You're already understanding what systems mean and how do you do that and what are the real life examples by organizing your kitchen shelves, your bookshelves. This will now translate to how you manage your projects at work. Yeah. To now translate to how you prioritize your tasks at work. Trust me, I know. Then Excel, look at your Excel skills. Now, if you learn the skills in Excel, you get to improve your home finances. And how do you do that? You get to improve your home finances through budgeting, right? You can now track your household budget better. Okay, I remember starting saying that we're supposed to learn Excel during the spring term holiday break. That was second term break, Easter break. See, I'm going to be using K-12 English spring term, summer term because my child is currently in a British Nigerian curriculum school. Yeah, so I just have to learn this thing and I just have to use the terminologies. So during the spring term break, I prepared the holiday activity book series, and one of the things we were supposed to learn was Excel sheet. We didn't get there. We did not get there. So that's the thing with this activity book. There's some activities I just write a lot, and why I write a lot is if you have more than one children, then you already know it already helps you to assign different things to different people. Um, but if you don't get to go through all the activities. You can move them to during the term. You cannot move them to things you're doing weekly or week or by weekends, and you could just progress on that. You don't have to just abandon it. So we're going to pick up on that Excel, see how we can see all the things we have to do this summer. So much, so much. The goal is to learn something new, and when you get to school, just keep the learning process, continuous, so they're not just at home and relaxing. So the real life example from this Excel skill that has been learned is that the Excel now helps you in your job too, in your career. Excel helps you. Everybody should be able to put data together at the moment. Imagine, I mean, for you to get to a managerial role, there's some certain skills that you have to do or you have to know. Imagine you have to do a report or put up a data. You should know a little bit of it, just a little. Okay, we're not saying go the whole route, but a little. Yeah. So that's how these learnings feed into each other. Then why are ages 5 through 17? Why are they the most important learning years? Why are they the training window? Because these are age 5 to 9 at the foundation years, age 10 to 13 discovery years, age 14 to 17 direction years, and I've broken them down in my slides here. The foundation years is where we're focusing on the habits, not the content, right? Your 15 minutes daily reading routine, or 20 minutes or 30 minutes, as the case may be. Your story time plus real world conversations, simple chores, already teaching life skills and responsibility. Your Bible plan, like your Bible reading, Bible study, prayer, all of these are already teaching them, you know, to stand firm in God's word, to build their relationship with God, and also the room to let them ask you why about everything. What does that mean for you as a parent? It means that for you as a parent, so you also have to be informed. You also have to make sure you're staying informed, you're staying relevant. And I mean relevant. And the only way you can stay relevant is by making sure that you keep reading what books. You're looking bright like this. So is by making sure that you keep reading books, right? Read books, take courses. There's some courses I will even drop. I'll drop some courses. Take some courses financial on financial literacy, communication skills. Yeah, there's some courses that you can take as parents too that can also help you stay informed while when your children are asking all this why. So with the foundation years, you're not rushing academics. You're just building the love for learning. You're building the love for learning. You're making them understand that learning is important and learning is vital to life. Okay? Very vital to life. Then the discovery that then will now move. This now takes us to the discovery years, ages 10 to 13, where you're focusing on exploring interests, building identity. So at this age, in age 5 to 9, they're already trying different skills. Don't get me wrong, but in between age 10 and 13, you're now being very intentional about that, and looking at that skills, making sure they're grounded in whatever skills that they have been developing, introducing project based learning, like building something, code coding for those who are in cooking, recipes, cooking. This is that year that's ripe for it. This is the age bracket, sorry, that's ripe for that. Project based learning. Well, you can also start doing your project based learning in age 5 and 9 with something as planting. Like now for this summer holiday, we're going through planting, just watching the process of how vegetables and food grow. So we're looking at tomatoes. We're planting tomatoes. We've planted tomatoes already. We planted beans, but that did not just work. Uh, Tomatoes have started growing. So I just brought out last night. I brought out some of the equipment I want to use to plant beans. I'm going to plant beans again. Beans, onions, what else? Pepper. And we tried planting curry leaf. Please, if anybody knows how they do that planting, curry leaf and scent leaf, please let me know in the comment section. Okay, so they can do project-based learning, project-based learning in this category in the foundation years, and also like maybe the Canva too is a project-based learning. They could learn Canva and build projects. And when I say learn Canva, I mean the project-based learning for Canva now will now be learning how to design the cover of a book cover, and probably writing a book from start to finish, or a comic book at least, because this is the age for it. My son has been all about comic and all of that. But in age 10, 13, they begin to now begin to um, be concrete about those skills that have been learned, build up on it. Um, um, Continue your reading log. Where are you doing reading journaling in foundation years? So in discovery years, you just continue that reading log, or just continue the reading log or journal. It's not enough to read. It's not enough to just tell me I finished reading this book. I read 100 books. What is the book about? Can you do a book review on the book? Do you know what book review is? Do you know what's required of you when you're doing a book review? Can you talk about the book in terms of the characters, how many pages it has, who the author is, what did you think about the author's thoughts? Things like so. This varies across the different types of book your child is reading, which is why you cannot just say they're reading only story books. They have to be exposed to all types of books so that you can have these conversations. Um, so the discovery years, you're also looking at them being exposed to different careers through conversation, through visits. It's a good time to want to visit the law chambers, the pharmaceutical company, the confectionery company, the malls, to see how does this mall even run and all of that. What happens here? Begin light career conversations. What do you enjoy most? What problems would you like to solve? What problems do you think exist currently around our environment, around the country that you think you want to solve? These are the questions we should be asking, not what do you want to study? No. What do you enjoy doing most? What problem do you want to solve? Can we step away from what do you want to study to that? Why do we think that what do you want to study is always changing, different, always changing? But what you're enjoying doing most will not change. What problem do you want to solve? Look at it, it will not change. Then what else? So at this years, we don't want to force a career path. Yes, you just want to let them explore. Then you now have the direction years. In the direction years, we're now beginning to choose a direction, right? We're now beginning to build a portfolio. So all those things you've been doing through the foundation years, you should have been documenting them. If you're not documenting them, just leave it there, Kevin. I'll pick it up later. I'm recording a video, okay? So just stay there. I'm recording a video, not now. We'll talk later. Okay, so sorry about that. So like I was saying, start documenting them. So keep the physical evidence, the hard copy, and also the digital copy of all of these things that you get doing. So your child is learning, has gone through basic digital literacy skills. Put that in their portfolio now. Put it in their portfolio. That certificate that they got, do a screenshot of it and start building their portfolio, their digital portfolio. And by portfolio, just put it in a folder first in your computer. Then you can now go further to put it in your Google Drive for them. And until they get to the age where you now have their own email where you just be sending it to them. Okay, so ages 14 to 17 are the direction years. Here you're choosing your direction, you're building portfolio. So you now begin to narrow down to one or two strong interest areas. You're building your skills, your portfolio, you're showing your projects, your certificates. You're now setting reading goals for career relevant books. At this point, you should be reading some books Yeah, career relevant books. You see that? Internships, begin to think about internship, job shadowing, volunteering. You can be doing that in this year because this is 14, 15, 16, 17. This is um, secondary school years, LM, higher, senior secondary. So now begin to put your CV and portfolio. Before WAEC, you have done this, you have a CV. Teach your child what it means to have their CV done properly. How do we have graduates who cannot write a proper CV? In 2026, I was looking at my like the first CV I did after when I finished. I think I'd finished law school when I did that CV. I can't look at it again. The only thing I know that I did not that I will remove from that CV is where is the biodata thing. And that biodata, like when I mean biodata, your name, your date of birth, state of origin, I think all of those things and all that, your status, female, you know, that's the only section I know I'm going to remove. Every other section on points and we arranged properly. And even this biodata was not the first thing that would visit somebody's feed. I kept it was on the second page. It was in the second page. You have people still putting bill. We don't need bill data now for your CV. Unless that was the instruction given for that specific job role. But generally, no. Your general CV, your generic CV, bill data, not interested, not important. Your address, and when I mean address, like to the number of your house, not important. Just put your area. So you're living in Transikulu, for example, you say Transikulu, Enugu. You're living in GRA, you say GRA, Enugu. All those your street name and your house number. What does the employer need it for? They don't need it for nothing. Your email, your LinkedIn, your link to your LinkedIn, especially when you're submitting the CV virtually, especially when you're doing a digital submission, this should be there. They should just be able to check you out. And that LinkedIn CV, and this, remember that you're doing your CV with the level of your career. So an entry level CV, somebody who just started working, who only has qualifications and a few experiences. But guess what? You can change all of. Remember when we finished school and then they're looking for work experience, and the only thing we have, the most things that people usually have is just their NYSC work experience. No, you can change all of that in 2026. Please change it. Your child can have an internship. They can have the work experience they've already put even before they enter university. While they are in university, imagine all those experience when you come out from work. Nobody is telling you you don't have work experience. You have work experience, and the child can defend it. They can defend it at that time because they experienced it. Do you understand? It's not just they didn't do. It's not copy and it's not a copy and paste CV. It's a lived CV. That's what CV should actually be. Should actually be. So there are different stages. So that entry stage is the way your CV is supposed to come across. When you're middle level in career, when you're in your mid-level career professionals, there's a way your CV. Those are the ones that should even have LinkedIn profile. You can have a LinkedIn profile as an entry level staff if you are already doing things right. If not, what are they going to do? Why do they want to check you out on LinkedIn? But the only people that are checking out on LinkedIn are people who have had a decade, who are over a decade, who are 10 years, over a decade, they're decades. I mean, someone like me now, over 2 decades. Over 2 decades since I graduated, since I was called to the bar. Yes, called to the bar is 2 decades plus. Graduated from school, 2 decades plus. So these are the people that when I'm creating, when I'm putting, when I'm doing, when I'm working on my CV, please, I can put my links in. I can put my URL, the URL to my LinkedIn. But as a child, if you have something that you're already showing on social media, if you have something that you already put in, maybe you're a graphic designer or something, then why not? And you put maybe some of these your works, why not? The child can At that age, rather, you can't still put your LinkedIn. But anyways, the goal is parents help them now, help them set their CV, help them. Why are graduates still making that mistakes of bringing CVs and you're wondering this person just went through school 4 whole years and this is what you can come up with as your CV. So what's the goal of the direction? Yes, don't wait till after WAEC. Start preparing now. Start preparing early. And which takes us to our roadmap, which takes us to our road map. How do you start? Vicky, this has been a very interesting um, conversation. This has been very enlightening. Can you stop that? You're distracting me. This has been a very enlightening conversation. How do we start implementing? So you can start with a weekly plan. Okay, on Mondays, when you look at when I'm laughing again because it takes us back to having your day outlook, knowing what your 24 hours look like. That's when you can plan this. You can start planning what you want to do on Mondays, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Wednesdays, this, Friday, this, weekend, this, and put a time frame for each of them. So I have a template that I will share. I already posted this in the Telegram group. If you had come into the Telegram group, you would have seen some of it. But I'll post them again on the WhatsApp group. So I'm going to leave the link for anyone who wants to join the home learning campaign. Yeah, it's daytime. I started recording this video and it was still the early hours of the morning. It just occurred to me that it's daytime and I can actually improve my lightning. Okay. I hope that's not so much though. Okay, so thank you for that. Thank you. I'm coming, Kevin. Just give me a few minutes. I'm almost rounding up with this video. Okay, so that's how you can start. So that when you start doing this every day, you're already setting yourself, that's it. You're already doing home learning. Um, okay, I'll just leave every other thing in this slides. The portfolio, about the portfolio methods. You see details about the portfolio. The portfolio is just your evidence, how you're turning your years of learning, years of all this learning that you've been doing intentionally with your child, how to put them into evidence. So that's the difference between a child who says I'm good at this and the one who can prove it. Put all of that together. Those awards from spelling bees, from maths competition, from your training, digital literacy, financially, put them together. And this can be a platform for application, for scholarship application, and all of that. You never can tell. Um, so we also have the 7-day challenge. So this 7-day challenge is just you trying to get a hang of this home learning, right? The 7-day challenge. And you can implement that this holiday. I have a template there that I'll share with you. And so, what you can do day one, what you can do day two, day three, excuse me, and all of that. The truth is, the way I designed this, you can fashion it to your own. You can fashion it in a way that it serves your own time and season. And when I mean your time, I mean especially for your child too. You can fashion it into that. So it's not like you don't have to follow it holistically. It's just a template that you can. It's editable too. So what I'll do is for the templates, I'll send them as I'll send this PowerPoint. I'll put the link to download these slides. The PowerPoint. I'll put the link for the PowerPoint for the prepared child masterclass. So there's going to be a link for this live video. There's going to be a link to download the slides that I use. There will also be a separate link for the template to download the templates, because I want the templates, I want it to be editable. I want you to be able to just, once you download it, you can edit it to your own, to suit your own, to suit your time and season, and to suit your child's learning progress. Okay, so that's it. We're coming to the end of this masterclass with home learning. The big takeaway is that you can start today. You can start today. And this summer holiday is actually a very amazing time for you to start. Whether your child is going for summer lessons or whether they're learning something, whether they're learning any particular skills, is a good time to implement this home learning into your home, so that by September when they resume, you've already integrated it into your home. Remember the three-layer engine, where the school is the foundation and the home is the functional place, and then career is the way forward, is the forward thinking. And um, I remember that we ages 15 through 17 are the most important years. We have, those are the training windows that we have with these children, with our children. And using these templates can get you transformational results, which I want to see, and begin to build your portfolio too. So your next step, what are your next steps after watching this video, is to download the Prepare Child um, Masterclass slide, download the Prepare Child template, sorry, the home learning templates. We have the 7-day Prepare Child challenge. Then we just have portfolio progress. I have a portfolio progress tracker, right? The Prepare Child challenge, portfolio progress tracker, and what else do I have? Then the portfolio, how the your how you can build your child's portfolio. So these are the templates. These are the three templates that I'm sharing. That's the three templates that I'll be sharing. Okay, so these are your next steps. Your next step is, for you as a parent, is to get the Prep Life Planner, because it's gonna help you. All of these home learning can only be done too if your own life has a form of structure. If your life, if your own life, if you're also taking, account of, your life and your goals, that will help you do better. Um, Join the home learning inner circle. Yes, you just have to subscribe. It's a one-time subscription fee. A one-time subscription fee of 5,000 naira. The link, I'll leave it below. Join the home learning inner circle, and yeah, the subscription is for life. Yeah, it's for life. And I want more people in, more than the money at this time. Um, that is to say that in the nearest future, subscription for you, if you don't join now, would come at a huge cost. But at the moment, I mean, yeah, 5,000 is just a way to support these are data plans and all of that. Yeah, so join the home learning inner circle. If you're not ready to join the home learning inner circle, that should not stop you. You can also join the home learning campaign group. Okay, so with the home learning campaign group, I just try to talk to the parents, every now and then, to let them know what they're doing, to just keep them inspired and motivated. But with the home learning inner circle, we're, 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 we're I'm doing beyond that. We're going further into helping you structure your plan, helping you stay accountable, giving you activities. In fact, yeah, and yeah, and giving you, activities that can boost the home learning, that can boost your home learning. You can also book a one-on-one coaching section. So these are for Those whose children are already in the direction, yes, yeah, you're already considering your interests and all of that, and you need some career development um, counsel from me, you can book a one-on-one section. In one-on-one section, that's where we'll be looking at all the industry, how industry works, the labor market information, the future of work, future ready skills. These are all the conversations that we'll be talking about in that consultation. So you can book for a one-on-one consultation, and that would do justice to it. I truly, truly hope that I've given you. This is not everything about home learning. This is just like an introduction into what um, home learning is. We'll be having several other master classes, some free, some paid. But if you're in the home learning inner circle, that already gives you access to these master classes. More master classes to be coming up on home learning. Um, yes, on home learning, home learning to career readiness, so many areas that I've, a lot of areas I talked on now were just I just talked about them, generally, but now I can now break them down into sections and, give specific directions and informations regarding, those areas and how we can take take a hold of them. I hope this masterclass has been truly, truly everything you've hoped for. I hope you've learned something new. Please, the masterclass was supposed to be an interactive section. So I'm looking forward to reading comments. You have questions for me, please leave them in the comment section. Or I would also, yeah, leave them for me in the comment section or join the group. If you don't want to leave it, if you don't want to leave those questions in the comment section, you can join the home learning campaign group. Remember that I'm going to be leaving the links of everything I've mentioned in the description box. And until our next masterclass, I remain Victoria Ohebulam, and this is At Home with Vicky. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget also to share this video with the parents in your network or to your community. It will go a very, very long way. Thank you once again for joining this masterclass, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.